Well, morning, welcome to a new Harry's Farm video. Today is Sunday 25th of August, so it's a bank holiday weekend, and the last time you were with me we were right down the bottom of this field and we were having trouble with the combine and the returns had blocked and it was late at night and it just said no, not now. Good news was that got sorted pretty quickly. We managed to open a flap, cleared it out by hand, ran it up a few times, and finally it spewed out all the rubbish that was blocking it. So that was great. So then yesterday we think, yeah, we'll crack on combining, and that was going really well up until about 6:30 last night when the combine did a big whoopsie. I'll go and show you what happened. Now I think I've explained how a combine works on another video, but basically you're feeding, everything goes up the front in the auger, and then it goes into that scoop there, and that feeds it into this big rotor in the heart of the machine, which is what the main thrashing area of this combine. It takes the straw and the wheat in. It's a great big drum. It reaches from about there up into where the engine is, and that is actually what does the separation of the straw and the grain, and then it falls into the sieves and it gets refined, and then you end up with lovely grain in the tank and all the straw going out the back. And that's driven by a giant belt off the engine gearbox. And last night, 6:30, this happened. It just self-destructed. Not what you want to happen on a bank holiday weekend. Obviously it stops you dead, there's nothing you can do. But the good news, my local dealer, Cotswold Farm Machinery, had one in stock, and here it is. It's an enormous great belt, made, I see, in the USA. The one thing they won't tell me is the price, but I would guesstimate that is £500 to £1,000 worth of belt. But it is pretty critical to this machine, because without it, it's a pretty useless combine. Yeah, and when it happened at last night, Saturday being a bank holiday weekend, I'm thinking, no, we've got no chance of getting this fitted. And so I was really chuffed when Cotswold Farm Machinery rang up at about 8:30 this morning. He said, yeah, Ricky's on his way, we'll get this sorted this morning. Hugely grateful. It's part of agricultural scene, actually. August bank holiday weekend is always a really busy time on UK farms. You're probably drilling rape or other cultivations, or you're just finishing a combine, and it's no different here. So I don't know how long this is going to take. There's a great manual that comes with this combine. It needs a special tool to do something on the pulley so you can slip it in. It's not a 5-minute job, and I'm extremely grateful that they're here. So hopefully in a few hours time we'll be back going again. Just while we're fixing a combine just now, I had another call, TH White this time, because the other thing that happened a couple of days ago is the wheel fell off this cultivator, Vadestad Carrier, which was sort of alright because we got it to the field here and I could do some cultivations, but I'd quite like to move it. I think it was slight operator error. The whole machine was greased bar the stub axles, and suddenly noticed the wheel was very wobbly and wasn't going to last another 5 minutes, so we limped to this field, unfolded it, took the wheel off, all of the parts had to come in from Sweden, and 3 days later it's all going back together again. I thought it was going to be a quiet Sunday morning, but it's not turning out that way. Well, I'm very pleased to report we have a working combine again. Ricky did his stuff. The slight kittens when we first turned it all back on was the rotor wasn't going round and there was a gearbox issue. It was actually had popped itself into neutral. Big relief. But it's absolutely cooking out here already. It's 1:30, time to go combining again. Fantastic. Thought it was worthwhile just giving you a little tour around the cab. Done it before, but basically everything is controlled by this hand control. I'm hoping I've got the camera in the right place so you can see it all happening. It's good to be combining again as well. Just see, I can see a flashing light on top. The beacon's flashing on the combine. I don't know if you can see that in shot. That means his grain tank is full, so it looks like we'll have to go and empty that now. That's my trigger to go do something. Let's see, so I'll go and chase him, and then we can just run through the controls. This tractor has a gearbox, a normal conventional gearbox with a clutch, but you don't really have to use the gearbox in between changes. As you can see, I can just flick up the gears here just on a button on that hand control, which is also the throttle. So everything is controlled by this really. And I will just slow up as I come alongside. I want to be about, I'm looking at here, gear 9, something like that. There we are, 1200. Doing 3.7 kilometers, and just to make life slightly easier, I can rotate the seat like that, so it's just easier for me to look out the back window. I think I'll actually also, the seat has its own air suspension. Yeah, I just checked the camera was on, so I can just go up a bit and I can see into the trailer a little easier. Now, I don't know if you can see in that mirror, but you might see that we're filling up the trailer quite nicely. I'm going to just speed up so I can fill up the back of the trailer. There we are. He's just running along here. We haven't got a huge, this is quite a small run, this one, so hopefully we'll empty it in this run. It takes about 2 minutes, I suppose, a minute and a half to do 7 tons into the trailer, something like that. I'll just fill up the back a bit more. And just a bit of a hill, so you have to concentrate at this bit. Oh, he's nearly empty by the look of things. So yeah, we're there, right. So that's 2 loads. I'm going to now charge back to the farm, and what I would like to do is get on a tram line. Now, the next trick on this gearbox is I can press a button on here that looks like a trailer, and now the gearbox goes fully automatic. So there we are, 10, 11, 12, that's a big change into 13 because it does another range of gears, 13, 14, I'm not touching a thing, nothing, and off it goes. This isn't a particularly sophisticated tractor either. This is pretty basic, but it's very easy to use, and it has a chunk of horsepower as well. It's rated at 150, but they do something sort of overboost and a different power rating, which means this green symbol here, and I think this tractor goes all the way up to like 190 horsepower, which you really feel when that green light's on. It's amazing. Right, I'm just running across here. I want to find a tram line, because again I come back to that compaction issue. I don't want compaction. Right, now I can go flat out, and off it goes. 14, 15 in, and off we go back to the grain shed. All the screens are on here. When we get to the grain shed, this controls all the hydraulics, the hydraulic tailgate, and tipping the trailer is all done on that one. So it's just beautifully laid out, and I've got a fuel economy, fuel rate of usage, time, speed, engine hours. This tractor has now achieved 432 hours engine running, time, date, etc. And you can see it wobbling around because again I'm on this air sprung seat, so the tractor actually has its own suspension, and then I've got suspension on the seat in here as well. Right, just backing into the grain shed, and there we are, up to the heat. Then I use this control here, the hydraulic tailgate opens, and then that just tips up the trailer. Easy as that, don't have to get out, no dust involved. Flipping marvellous as far as I'm concerned. So we are now empty, so I can put it in dump. There we go. I should also have told you I just cycle forward and reverse using these 2 triangles here, so I can go backwards, I can press that, no clutch, and it cycles forwards and reverse as well automatically. It does all the clutch work myself. I don't actually have to use a clutch. I've got the clutch on because I'm just waiting for the trailer to come down so we get out the door. Otherwise it'd be a bit embarrassing if I try and get out the grain shed with the trailer tipped up. There, right, back to the combine. I should also point out that we're chopping the straw in this field, and that's why you can't see any rows of straw anywhere. If you look behind the combine, if you can see that, a right old mess behind the combine, and it's all just going through a giant chopper, and then we'll cultivate this into the ground. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be standing in that mess that sea of straw coming out of there. Just got to watch it because it obviously gets sucked into the radiators and things like that, and your cooling system goes AWOL. Doesn't like that amount of bulk going through it, but it means that you end up with a field that looks like this. If I swing round, the straw is almost gone, and you can immediately cultivate the straw in. It's sort of like a mulching deck that you get on your mower, but considerably more effective. It's only to get rid of probably 2 tons of straw per acre. We're just combining in the field right next to where the cattle are. And all the cows are sort of hiding up the top of the field. There's one cow down the bottom, and I think it's got a little present with it that has come a bit early. I think there's a calf with it, so I'm just going to have a quick look. There we go. Radio. We're on iPhone video rather than proper camera video. Just have a look. Oh, it's an older cow, so it's not one of the heifers that's calved. I would imagine we're all right. Afterbirth pretty fresh. Afterbirth still with mum. It's quite close to the. How are we doing, eh? How are we doing? God, you've got a fit. There he is. Look at all the flies on it. You're a beefy one. You are. No, mine. Get away from the fence. That's all good. That is all good. That's a big calf, actually. A fresh calf. Right, I'll tell David, who's got the cows, he's got an early calf. That wasn't due for a few weeks, but and a very strong bull calf. Excellent. Right, better get back to the combine. Another nice thing about garden bottom, this field where the cows are, we get some nice field mushrooms. Yeah, proper ones. Look at that. That's fresh, lovely. Excellent. Still, he's probably wondering where his grain cart's gone. I better disappear, I think. There's the field the cow's in. She's still alright. The other cows, this is quite steep up here, so I'll just let the gearbox do its stuff. It's got full power, always gone down the range. Well, I'm not touching anything. Feet aren't on the pedals, and it's gone down to 9th gear. There we are. Clamber up here. That's quite a heavy trailer we've got behind us. It's probably 14 tons easy in there. As I said before, that's about 26 tons in all, trailer and tractor. But yeah, I don't know how much you can see through there, but if I just move that camera around, and see the other cows, they're all hiding under the hedge there in the shade because it's a 30-degree day today. And that's why you're always suspicious if you've got one cow out on its own, something's up. They're a herd animal, and they like to sort of hang around together. And they're all up here in the shade thinking, well, we're not going down there in the sunny bit. Yeah, much more sensible. And they do spend a lot of time lying down, cows. They chew continuously on the cutters to regurgitating grass and giving it another chew and shoving it back down into their stomach system. So yeah, it's always nice to see a new calf, especially one as healthy as that. Combine is off to another field. It's great news. What time is it? Yeah, 7:45. So we won't probably do another hour or something like that. But it's so perfect conditions. They're all having fun, so why not do a little bit more? Combine's running ace as well. Good. Right, I just wanted to see if there's a field here. They might have done some baling in. Let's have a little look in here. Yes, a few bales. They might look like big bales, but they're actually, yeah, it's a clever system. These are little bales for horticulture, conventional bales, but done into a big pack, so you can sort of see there's a big string over them there, but actually they're all little bales. I think there's 21 to a pack. and they're worth considerably more little bales than big bales. Right. Let's have a little look up here. This is a field I was in the other day, just cultivating. Yeah, there we go. That's where the cultivator is. And then with a combine will come across there. God, how much is there in here? 16 acres, something like that. To do in here. I'm not going to stop here because the exhaust is going to be quite warm, and I accidentally set a field alight once by doing exactly that. There we are, look at it from here. So he's going to go into here. This is about 6.6 hectares, and when you go into a field a week like this, you do the headland first, 3 times around the headland, and it's called opening out the field. And then you use lands inside, as it's termed. You use a tram line to keep it straight, and you just eat it off, up and down, till it's done. That's the way you do it. And you just got to, I mean, it's so dry now, as I say, that last load didn't even register on the moisture meter, but just where you get shade off a hedge like that, that'll be the dampest bit along there, but there's no weed in this field. It's absolutely perfect. It's a perfect evening for combining. Yeah, I'll soon nibble this one off. It's this sort of monster. It has a sort of character, doesn't it, a combine? There is something primeval about it. It doesn't look like a normal machine. I think it's the revs, they always sound noisy because they're hydraulically driven, so you keep the engine's always just flat out. There's no gear changes. The engine's just going flat out until he's just put the revs down now, because he's going to energize all the rotor and the sieves and stuff, so you'll hear it grunt as that starts up next. Or is he resetting stuff? Let's see. Oh, he's on the phone. Oh, he's checking Instagram. I don't know. You just give it an easier time when you engage everything. You just drop the revs and then you flare the revs up again and go combining. Right, he's going to go around this way by the look of things. Going to go around clockwise. This is a wildflower mix here. It's not my best one actually. I nearly reseeded, but there is enough coming through. I think it'll still be in there in the winter. It was super dry in May and it wasn't easy to establish when we put it in. And it's just a bit too much weed in it for my liking. Yeah, and off he goes. Yeah, it's a magic time of evening this, where when the sun's just going down, it's just coming up to 8 o'clock. Still warm, but you can tell the dew is just starting to come down. The dust is hanging in the air more now. The wind's dropped. I just swing round, see that sun just dipping on the horizon. Yeah, busy day on the farm, wasn't it, in the end? Broken combine this morning, quickly fixed, really grateful for that. And then the cultivator fixed as well when we got going, and it's yielding really well. It's a really good year this year. It looks like 2019, the wheat harvest is coming in terrific. There's a new calf, wasn't there, arrived this afternoon. That was a bit of a surprise. That wasn't quite due yet, but out it popped and looks very healthy, and a little bit of baling and things. So tomorrow, yeah, will be the last of the wheat harvest, and then it would take about 20 acres to do tomorrow, which will soon get nibbled off, and then attention will turn to the 2020 harvest and planting next year's crops. Just crazy how things, tumble one to the other, but that's how it works on the farm. So I hope you've enjoyed this new edition of Harry's Farm. If you have, keep watching, keep subscribing as well. Thank you so much for the 7,000 who've already subscribed. More videos coming on very soon.